In today's session, we will talk about a very important topic, that is exception in Python. To understand this topic, we have to take two numbers from the user and we have to perform division operation on it. Okay, so first we have to make two references. The name of first reference is num1 and another reference is num2. Okay, so first we make first reference, that is num1, and we have to take that number from the user, and second reference with the name num2, and we have to take another number from the user. And now we have to perform division operation on it. Okay, so for that we have to write num1 division by num2. Okay, so if we run the program as per the syntax, our code is perfectly valid. Okay, our program is perfectly valid. If we write like first number is 12 and second number is 2, output is 6, it perfectly work. Okay, because as per syntax our code is valid. Okay, but suppose that if we forgot that bracket, so definitely we will get a syntax error. So that is a syntax error. Okay, but if our code as per syntax, if our code is valid, okay, and if we enter the first number is 12 and we enter the second number is 0. Now pause the video and think, what is the output here? Here we will get a zero division error. Actually it's an exception. We'll get one exception, that is zero division error. So in this case we'll get one exception, that is zero division error. Means that as per syntax our code is right, but because of some invalid input we'll get one exception, that is zero division error, and our code will stop at middle. Okay, so it is programmer responsibility to handle all exception. Okay, again we run the program, and by mistake in place of number if we enter some string like a b c, so again we will get, pause the video and think, we'll get error or not? Yes, definitely we will get exception, that is value error. Okay, so again we will get a value error, means that we will enter a wrong value. Here in place of number we will enter string, and that is the reason we will get exception, that is value error. But we can handle these exceptions with the help of try and except block. Okay, so now we have to handle these two exceptions. So for that we have to write that try block, we have to write our code in a try block. Okay, so for that we have to copy our program and we have to put it in a try block. Okay, now it's perfectly valid, and first we have to handle first exception. Okay, so for that we have to write except block, and inside except block we have to write exception as e, and here we print e. It's perfectly work, and again we run the program, and if we enter the first number is 12 and second number is 0, so our program will not stop at middle and we will get division by 0. Okay, but we know that if we divide any number by 0, so we will get a division error. But if you display like division by 0, so I think user is not familiar with the programming language, so definitely it feel confused what is the meaning of division by 0. Okay, so you want to print some user friendly message. Okay, so for that you have to handle every exception. Okay, so for that in place of exception, because exception is a predefined class in Python, you have to use zero division exception, and zero division error is also a predefined class in Python. And if you see, the child is in capital form and zero division error is right in a camel case form. So behind the scene actually zero division error is also a class, so we have to first make the reference of zero division error. So here I write zero division error as e, we make the reference of that class, and here we want to print division by 0 is not allowed. Division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, and if we want to print that reference also, so that is also possible. So if we enter first number is 12 and second is 2, so we will not get any exception, it perfectly work, and we will get 6.0 as an output. But what happens if we write first number is 12 and second number is 0? So we will get division by 0 is not allowed and division by 0, because here we print that reference also. That's why we'll get division by 0 as an output. Okay, so if you remove that part, then it will look more beautiful. So again we run the program, enter first number is 12 and second number is 0. Not print a user friendly message like division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, now what happen if we if we enter first number is 12 and the second number is ABC. Again pause the video and think, that exception is handled or not. Means that we will get exception or not. Definitely we will get exception, because we will handle only one exception, that is zero division error. Okay, we will not handle value error. So if you want to handle value error, so for that you have to make one more except block. So again we have to accept value error as E. Again the value error is a predefined class in Python, and here we make a reference of value error as E, and we want to print some user friendly message. So we have here we have to write only integer data is allowed. Data is allowed. Okay, now here you fix second exception also. Okay, now we again we run the program, and if we put first number as 12 and second number is ABC, so it will give you only integer data is allowed. Okay, it's perfectly good, but maybe a possibility you will handle 10 exception but 11th will arise. Okay, and so for that you have to, for safe hand, you have to write one more except block. Okay, and you have to write exception as E, and because exception is a root class for every exception in Python, and it will accept all other exceptions. Okay, so it's perfectly valid now. Okay, now if you enter like 12 and any number like A, B, C or anything, it will handle all the exception. Because if you write like this, then only integer data is allowed, because it will that exception is a value error exception, and except block will catch that exception. It will print only integer data is allowed. Okay, now there is one more block, that is finally block. Okay, so what is actually the working of finally block? Okay, so suppose that here we want to write print process start. Process started. Yeah, process start, and we want to end that process also. Okay, so process start, and if we enter 12, second number is 0, division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, now we want to close that that process. So for that you have to write finally block. So finally block will always execute. You will get exception or you will not get exception, finally block always execute. Okay, so here we write finally, and inside finally we want to print process end. Process end. Okay, again finally block always execute. If you get exception or if you not get exception, that block, that finally block always execute. Okay, always perform its task. Okay, so if we run the program, again run the program, and if we enter like first number is 12 and second number is 3, so it will return you 4.0 as an output, and again process end, and in this case we will not get any exception, but finally block again execute, and that is actually the reason we will get process end as an output at last. Okay, again we run the program, and here we enter first number is 0, and by mistake if we enter second number is 0, again we will get exception, that is division by 0 is not allowed. But after division by 0 is not allowed, we will get process end, because finally block always execute. You will get exception or you will not get exception, that block always execute. Okay, so that is actually the beauty of finally block. Okay, so in this scenario we will cover two exceptions. First is zero division error, second is value error. Okay, and there are so many exceptions. Like if we talk about some other exception, like if you print x, but here you not defined x, but what happened? you will get exception or not. Here I print X. Okay, so it will give some error also. Again, we run the program. Okay, so it will name X is not defined, but we will not get any of the error. Okay, because actually it's a name error, but name X is not defined. We will get a message that name X is not defined. Actually, it will give name error, but just because of that block, like except exception as E, will not get any of the error. Okay, so it will catch that exception and will get name X is not defined. Okay, and that is actually the reason I will add that block like except exception as E at last. Okay, because it will handle all other exceptions. Okay, and that's all for my today class. Thank you so much.